what's up, and welcome to the channel. I'm Shotgun Shogun, and it is 5:56 in the morning, and we got a lot of information on the stream this morning. There's 2 new units, which you'll see videos for both of those. Obviously, you're here, so this is one of those videos. There's also going to be patch notes. There's going to be a breakdown of all the stuff that came out on the live stream as well that's probably not covered in the patch notes themselves, but you're here to see the Eda preview. Now, we saw the silhouette yesterday. A lot of people were asking, oh man, are those horns? Is this an FGO collab? That's clearly Kiara. That's going to be the collab. JK, the collab's actually Guilty Gear, but let's talk about Eda.
Curse me.
Okay. Bryceria vibes.
I see a touch of death. Shall embrace you.
All right, so first off, she's a half elf, a half shadow elf, descendant from shadow elves of Eurasia. Her mana is so powerful that she was once revered as Lufendos's strongest wizard, strongest magic. Shadow elf, half shadow elf, shadow elf. She is also go back so I can read this. A high wizard born in the shadow of misfortune. Okay, so we're going to you know what, see, like right there, tell me that doesn't give you some like Bryceria vibes, right? Easy hot elf goth girlfriend. Okay, hero introduction though. Boom. All right, so you got 106 speed. This seems to be somewhat, yeah, it's kind of common lately, right? A lot of things are going to be around that 106 speed, I've noticed, except for like ML Lilbet, who's going to be kind of slow. But one of the things you'll notice here, 27% critical hit chance. That means we're going to get some critical hit chance in the Awakening. 18 effectiveness imprints. 10.8 on the triple S for everybody if you like the attack imprint for the rest of your team. But if you need a little bit of extra effectiveness on yourself, you can self-imprint here for that 27%. I like it. You get your options, right? You also have a pretty high attack here at 1255. So base attack is going to be a pretty okay, right? You also have semi-okay defense here. I believe that's actually pretty high. I'll have to go check. But she is a mage, so yeah. But we're going to get into the rest of her stuff here. She has very high critical hit chance and effectiveness amongst mages. So skill introduction here. Okay, so this is going to be her skill 3, Absolute Zero. Releases energy to attack all enemies with a 60 to 75% chance to stun for 1 turn. Now stun, really big, way better than like a provoke or a silence because, well, they're stunned, and that means that they can't do anything. Now, this increases the combat readiness of all allies by 5% according to the number of critical hits made, meaning that it's good that she has the critical hit chance on her awakenings because it'll be easier to get her to 100% critical hit chance, meaning that if you don't have a lot of extra critical hit chance gear, yo, critical hit chance necklace, easy life. Boom, instant 100%. So 75% chance to stun, slap a crown on her, and if you run a stripper before her, that's going to be a lot of chances to stun, and 20% increased combat readiness if you're hitting all 4 people. I'm going to assume that that is the way that works, right? This is also going to be on a 4-turn cooldown, meaning that you are going to want to get this to at least +4 for the 75% chance to stun. So 4-turn cooldown, if you make her fast, this is going to be coming up pretty regularly. And you're also going to see with her other skills, she should be lapping and clapping pretty well. So we're gonna see the damage here, which I'm sure everybody is gonna be like, yo, that damage is garbage. Okay, so let's see, we'll go back here. Also, somebody mentioned it was 85%. Hold on, let me check that again real quick. It is 85% chance, which is better than 75% chance, but it's an extra 10. So it's like 75% chance, but with an extra 10. So it's 85%, like ML Taiwan's S3, which we all know is very fair and balanced, right? But so if we take a look here, as you can see, that only did like 5832 here to your Arius holder, most likely in the front, which is already terrible. I can already see all of the Reddit threads, all of the Facebook threads, the stove threads, the E7G threads talking about how this is literally the worst unit that has been put out to date, and anybody who pulls for this is probably a Bronze Lord who has never gotten past placements, and 85% chance isn't 100% chance. This is the worst game that's ever existed. Again, we don't know what her gear is, obviously, but I mean, even still, a mage doing 85-32 to an obviously semi-tanky team here is going to be still pretty solid. Now, you do see too that she is this team is really weird. ML Crow with CDOM and Mui, I don't understand what they were going for. Probably a really weird, I would say a new draft, but it has a dude on it in terms of ML Crow, so clearly New was not the one who was running this. But let's see what we got here. So this is her skill 2. Now, this is 4 turns. Soul burn effect is 10 souls, decreases cooldown by 2 turns. It's 3 turns when you level this up. Now, attacks all enemies with an explosion of ice, dispelling 1 buff before decreasing combat readiness by a random amount between 5 and 20%. A critical hit chance will decrease combat readiness by an additional 10%. So you have the option, the chance to decrease their combat readiness by 30%. So this is going to be pretty big. Now, the other thing here too is it's not a static decrease, right? So you have between 5 and 20%. Well, 15 and 30% if you're gonna crit, which, I mean, considering their S3, right? You kind of want to crit. So you can already assume 15 to 30%. Now, the fact that this is random can throw off their speed tuning and disrupt their whole entire thing. Because even if you just push them back 30%, right, they'll still be in order. Now, this can very much, the randomness of this can very much screw up a lot of their speed tuning and their overall stuff. So this is going to be real big. Not only that, but like I said, 10 souls, going to reduce that by 2 turns. That means that you're going to be able to use this S2 very, very regularly, meaning that if you have her very fast, you're going to be lapping and just bopping them backwards. Now, this is like control, but without debuffs. So ML Lilbet not going to be able to do anything against Eda, which is really, really big, considering most control units are going to be putting debuffs and stuff like that on, which means that Cesarito, your Kitty Clarissas, things like that are going to really be hindering that. I mean, Kitty Clarissa obviously is going to be hindering your pushback of her because of the effect resist, but it's still going to push everybody else back, whereas a control unit's going to stun, silence, whatever. This is pushback. You can't really do too much against that. Kitty Clarissa can't dispel and push forward. DJ Bassard can, but that's a whole other thing. So, and 10 souls is really nothing when it comes to souls. I mean, anybody who has played against Nate Tywin knows you get 10 souls very, very fast. So this is going to be real big. Like I said, if you're 100% crit chance, you're guaranteed 15 to 30% pushback, which is huge, considering too that you're going to be using that S3. Not only that, but it dispels the buff. pretty big. Now, I don't think necessarily that she needs to be an opener unless you're going against not an FCC, obviously, but still the option of an opener. FCC obviously would kind of mess her up, but you can boom S2, push them back, then you can come through the next turn, S3, and then go from there. So we'll see how people opt to use her, but again, S2 potentially into somebody else as an opener, then you follow up with the S3, bam, done. I like it. I definitely am a big fan of this.
적 전체를 공격하여 강화효과를 한개하지 않은 후 행동 게이지를 5에서 20% 사이로 무작위 감소시킵니다. 치명타 발생 시
Now let's see what the damage is here.
10% 감소시킵니다. 또 10개 사용 시
Okay, so as you can see right here, this is only what looks like 4351 on who? On a Ravi, literally terrible. This unit clearly needs buffs, and the damage that she's outputting right here is pretty much the worst damage that I've ever seen in this game. I don't even know why they would put this unit out. It doesn't one-shot everything. Can you even use this unit to cleave? I don't think so. Now let's talk about her S1, Icy Impact. This attacks the enemy with shards of ice with an up to 75% chance to make them unhealable for one turn. This is what I was actually talking about with the S2. It's 6 in the morning. You'll have to excuse me when I swap them back and forth, right? But unhealable, pretty big, because if you're controlling and you're doing things like that, now this is going to suck if you're going obviously into like a C Zeratos, something along those lines, because, well, you're going to land unhealable on him every single time. But just kill him with the other abilities, or pray for the 25 plus 15% that you don't land unhealable on him and he doesn't punt it back at you. But for everybody else, this is going to hinder potential Falconeer Query heals. Not a lot of people are running Soul Weavers, but this unhealable is still okay. When eventually people bring Soul Weavers back in. Hey, you know what? It's good in Guild Wars as well, right? Because people put Soul Weavers in Guild Wars. It doesn't matter. S2 and S3 is really, really where it's at.
얼음 파편으로 적을 공격하여 최대 75% 확률로 1턴간 회복 불가를 발생시킵니다.
That was only 1400 damage. For an S1, yikes. Now, let's take a look at her artifacts. So, Twilight Calamity. When you max this out, plus 30, you're going to get the increased critical hit chance of all of your allies, that includes her as well, by up to 10%, and increase the effectiveness of the caster by 30%. Now, it's not bad, right? It's kind of like a Pure Bloom with effectiveness added in on the caster, but why would you ever use this over Book, Crown, Violin? You could even use Necro Udine, because that works for her, because 2 of her abilities are AoE. If you have it, which, I mean, the Guilty Gear collab is going to be coming back around, so could potentially use that on her for even more turn cycling. But the art is good, and maybe you get it while you're pulling for her, so there's that. But personally, while I think that it could be an okay artifact, mages have some of the most busted artifacts in the entire game, so yeah, I wouldn't necessarily use this on her or chase this artifact at all. But I mean, if you need this in place of Pure Bloom for the moment, you could potentially use this on, like, I don't know, a Banshee team or something. Etika's would also be pretty solid as well. Thank you, chat, for bringing that one up. But mages have some of the most busted artifacts in the game, so this one kind of hitting the missing the mark, but at least it's not doctor's bag. So there is that. But overall, I'm really big fan of her, and her S3 animation is really solid. They have been knocking it out of the park with these S3 animations lately. So using her in control, right? Now obviously if you start drafting control, they're going to start drafting control, but I think as like a support mage, she's very strong, right? You can control and CR manipulate. CR manipulation is really big in disrupting your enemy's overall game plan. That's why things like Basar, you have the pushback. Even if a Tywin cleanses your unbuffable, it doesn't matter, you're pushed back, right? Units that just CR manipulate either forward or backwards are really big. Now this also allows you the option, that's why General Purgus, right? You disrupt the overall flow of the game by disrupting the CR manipulation. So I think that her in tandem with other units is going to be really big. Just make sure that you don't run her with Cerise, because you're going to restrict, and then you're going to be like, I can't wait to S2 and I'm going to soul burn it so I can S2 again real fast afterwards. And then you're going to be like, yo, why didn't they move backwards? And you're going to be like, oh, that's right, restrict. That's a thing that I did. And then everybody's going to come into your video in the comment section and tell you how dumb you are because you tried to Dizzy S2 a restricted unit and then you don't understand why it didn't go anywhere. That's not a thing that ever happened to me because I don't make those mistakes. But should you pull her, I think that if you like control and you like really hot dark elf mommy material, then absolutely. I mean, her did they show her her faces at all? Hold on, let me scroll through this, because sometimes they show the faces, right? I mean, look at that, that's super cute. No, they didn't scroll through. Show me the Friendship 10 face. That's really what I want to see. The Friendship 10 smile is going to be very solid. But should you pull her, I think that she's going to be very good. But again, do know that Guilty Gear's coming back. Unknown collab after that. Does she fit your play style? I think that she's going to fit my play style perfectly fine. So I will definitely be pulling for her. Again, I think that if you're looking at Mola investment, +4 on her S3 is a requirement. Her S2 down to +3, and then her S1 down to +3. So you don't have to get the extra damage, but she is going to require at least a little bit of Mulgores into the S3 and the S2 in order to do what you need to. Now you can kind of ignore the S1. I would make the S1 the last priority for the extra chance to unhealable, right? Obviously S2, S3 is going to be your most important of the two. So take it with what it is. And then once we get the numbers on her modifiers, obviously we'll be talking about her modifiers and the amount of damage, potential builds. I'll throw some stuff around today. She is an Ares mage? Go back through. Yeah, she's an Ares mage. I'll find somebody who has the same stat line as her, and we'll figure that out once we see what her overall modifiers are. But for those of you who are watching over on YouTube, as always, if you are not subscribed yet, make sure you do. I would appreciate it. And for those of you on Twitch, thanks for being here. Every other Wednesday morning, we will be here. If you want to watch it live and you want to wake up at 6 in the morning for some reason, cool. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy, homies. Peace.